In the heart of small-town India, where tradition often clashes with modernity and dreams are shaped by societal expectations, lives Chaman Bharti, a man who looks like he stepped straight out of a horror movie. At just 25 years old, Chaman has gone completely bald and sports a wrinkled face that makes him look decades older than he actually is. Despite his unusual appearance, Chaman is an intelligent, kind-hearted, and deeply optimistic young man who believes in love, destiny, and the power of laughter. Chaman hails from a modest family in Punjab. His father runs a small textile shop, while his mother is a homemaker who constantly worries about her son's future, especially his marital prospects. In a culture where marriage is not just a personal milestone but a social obligation, Chaman's appearance becomes a major hurdle. He's repeatedly rejected by potential brides and their families, not because he lacks education or charm, but simply because of how he looks. The film opens with Chaman preparing for yet another arranged meeting with a prospective bride. He dresses up in his best clothes, practices his smile in front of the mirror, and mentally prepares himself for what he hopes will be the one. But the meeting ends exactly like all the others. Awkward silences, shocked reactions, and a polite but clear rejection. As Chaman walks home alone, we see the weight of loneliness begin to settle on his shoulders. Despite these rejections, Chaman refuses to give up. He works hard at a local marketing firm and dreams of making it big in life. He's passionate about advertising and storytelling, believing that everyone has a story worth telling. He even starts writing short scripts and posts them online under the alias Chammy, hoping someone, somewhere might connect with his ideas. His parents, however, grow increasingly worried. They decide it's time to take matters into their own hands. With the help of relatives and matchmakers, they continue setting up meetings, each ending in disappointment. One particularly harsh scene sees Chaman being openly mocked by a girl's brother, who calls him a ghost and tells him to stop wasting people's time. The humiliation is unbearable, but Chaman manages to keep smiling through the pain. It's during this period of emotional turmoil that Chaman meets Naina, a spirited young woman working as a content creator in Delhi. She stumbles upon one of Chaman's online videos, a humorous yet touching monologue about the struggles of being judged solely by appearance. Intrigued by his wit and depth, she decides to reach out to him. Their first conversation is awkward but full of warmth. Naina is direct, funny, and refreshingly honest. She doesn't pretend not to notice his appearance. Instead, she jokes about it in a way that disarms him. For the first time, Chaman feels seen for who he truly is. Not just his looks, but his mind, his humor, and his soul. Encouraged by Naina's interest, Chaman begins collaborating with her on more content. Together, they create a series called Ujda-Chaman, which explores themes of self-acceptance, beauty standards, and the absurdities of modern dating. The show quickly gains popularity, thanks to its raw honesty and unique voice. People start connecting with Chaman's story, not just those who have faced similar challenges, but anyone who has ever felt invisible in a world obsessed with perfection. As their professional relationship deepens, so does their personal bond. Chaman finds himself falling for Naina, though he keeps his feelings to himself, convinced that someone as beautiful and confident as her could never reciprocate. Naina, on the other hand, begins to see Chaman not just as a collaborator, but as a friend, confidant, and eventually something more. But before either can fully articulate their emotions, life throws them a curveball. Naina receives a job offer abroad, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that would take her far away from India. Torn between her dreams and her growing affection for Chaman, she hesitates. Meanwhile, Chaman, fearing rejection, pushes her to accept the offer, masking his sadness with false cheerfulness. Naina leaves, and Chaman returns to his quiet life, now feeling emptier than ever. Without her presence, his confidence begins to wane. The fame and success of Ujda-Chaman feel hollow without the person who helped bring it to life. He spirals into self-doubt, questioning whether he was ever truly loved for himself or if Naina's kindness was just pity. Back in Delhi, Naina struggles to adjust to her new life. She realizes that no matter how exciting her surroundings are, something is missing. Her thoughts keep drifting back to Chaman, His laughter, his quirks, the way he made her feel safe and understood. She tries reaching out to him, but Chaman has become distant and unresponsive. Meanwhile, Chaman's parents, unaware of his emotional state, pressure him to marry. Desperate to please them, he reluctantly agrees to one last arranged meeting. This time with a girl named Ritu, who claims to admire his work and understand his journey. The meeting goes surprisingly well. Ritu is warm, empathetic, and seems genuinely interested in getting to know him. As the two spend more time together, Chaman starts opening up to the possibility of love again. Ritu listens patiently to his fears and insecurities, offering comfort and encouragement. Slowly, Chaman begins to believe that maybe, just maybe, happiness isn't reserved only for people who fit society's definition of beauty. But just when things seem to be looking up, Nina returns, unexpectedly and unannounced. She arrives at Chaman's doorstep, jet-lagged and emotionally exhausted, and confesses that she couldn't stay away. She admits her feelings for him, revealing that her decision to leave had been based on fear, not just of distance, but of facing a future without him. Chaman is stunned. He's torn between his growing connection with Ritu and the undeniable pull he still feels toward Nina. The film delves into the complexity of human emotions, love, loyalty, friendship, and the painful process of choosing between two paths. Ritu, sensing the emotional storm within Chaman, gives him space to sort through his feelings. She tells him that she cares for him deeply, but she also understands that some connections are too rare and powerful to ignore. She encourages him to follow his heart, even if it means letting go of what they've built together. With newfound clarity, Chaman confronts his deepest fears, not just about love, but about his own self-worth. He realizes that he spent so long trying to prove himself to the world that he forgot to accept himself first. He finally understands that love isn't about finding someone who overlooks your flaws, but someone who sees you, truly sees you, and chooses you anyway. In the final act, Chaman reunites with Nina. There's no grand declaration or dramatic confession. Just two people standing in the rain, laughing through tears, finally allowing themselves to be vulnerable with each other. They embrace, not as perfect beings, but as flawed, imperfect souls who found beauty in each other's truth. The film closes with a montage of Chaman's life moving forward, continuing to make content that inspires others, advocating for body positivity and self-love, and living unapologetically in a world that often tries to silence difference. His journey may not have been easy, but it was undeniably real. #### themes explored. Throughout the film, several key themes are explored. 1. Self-acceptance. Chaman's journey is fundamentally about learning to love himself despite societal rejection. His growth from seeking validation externally to finding peace internally forms the core of the narrative. 2. Beauty standards. The film critiques unrealistic beauty norms and the pressure they place on individuals, especially in cultures where appearance plays a crucial role in social acceptance. 3. Love beyond appearance. Through Chaman's relationships with both Ritu and Nina, the film highlights that true love transcends physical appearance and is rooted in understanding, respect, and emotional connection. 4. Family dynamics. Chaman's interactions with his parents reflect the traditional expectations placed on children, particularly in Indian society, and how difficult it can be to balance familial duty with personal happiness. 5. Social media and identity. The rise of Chaman's career through digital platforms serves as a commentary on how online spaces can empower marginalized voices, giving them a platform to share stories that mainstream media often ignores. 6. Mental health. While subtly addressed, the film touches on the emotional toll of constant rejection and the importance of having supportive relationships that validate one's struggles. 7. Friendship versus romance. The dynamic between Chaman and Nina blurs the lines between friendship and romance, exploring how sometimes the most meaningful relationships evolve over time and defy labels. 8. Choice and agency. Ultimately, Chaman's decision to pursue his heart rather than settle for convenience reflects the broader message of taking control of one's life and making choices that align with personal values. 9. Hope and resilience. Even in moments of despair, Chaman never completely loses hope. His resilience is portrayed not as blind optimism, but as a conscious effort to find joy and meaning in life despite adversity. 10. Cultural shifts. The film subtly comments on changing attitudes in Indian society, particularly among the younger generation, who are increasingly challenging outdated norms around marriage, beauty, and success. ### Character development. Each character in Ujda-Chaman undergoes significant development throughout the film. Chaman Bharti starts as a hopeful but insecure young man struggling with external judgment and internal doubt. By the end, he evolves into a confident individual who embraces his uniqueness and chooses happiness on his own terms. Naina begins as a carefree, ambitious content creator who initially connects with Chaman out of curiosity. Over time, she grows emotionally and learns the value of vulnerability, ultimately returning to fight for a love she almost lost. Ritu represents compassion and emotional maturity. Though she enters the story later, her impact is profound. She shows Chaman that not all romantic connections need to lead to marriage, and that sometimes love means helping someone find happiness elsewhere. Chaman's parents, initially driven by traditional expectations, they slowly come to understand their son's emotional needs and learn to support him in ways beyond material or social success. Supporting characters, colleagues, friends, and extended family members serve to highlight different perspectives on love, marriage, and societal pressure, enriching the narrative with diverse voices. ### Cinematic style and tone. Visually, Ujda-Chaman blends realism with moments of whimsy. The cinematography captures both the vibrancy of urban life in Delhi and the simplicity of rural Punjab. Flashbacks and dream sequences are used sparingly to illustrate Chaman's inner world, adding depth to his character without overshadowing the main narrative. The soundtrack complements the film's tone perfectly, blending light-hearted melodies with soulful ballads that mirror Chaman's emotional highs and lows. The background score subtly underscores key scenes, enhancing the emotional impact without becoming overbearing. Humor is woven naturally into the script, often arising from Chaman's witty observations and candidness about his situation. These comedic elements provide relief without trivializing the deeper issues at play. ### Impact and reception. Though fictionalized here, Ujda-Chaman resonates with audiences due to its relatable portrayal of insecurity, rejection, and the universal desire to be loved. It challenges viewers to rethink their biases and consider what it truly means to connect with another person. The film's message of embracing imperfection and celebrating individuality has sparked conversations about body image, mental health, and the pressures of conforming to societal expectations. It has inspired many viewers to share their own stories of feeling different and finding strength in authenticity. While it avoids heavy-handed preaching, the film delivers its message with sincerity and warmth. Its blend of comedy, drama, and romance makes it accessible to a wide audience, while its underlying themes elevate it beyond typical Bollywood fare. ### Conclusion. In the end, Ujda-Chaman is not just the story of a man who looks different. It's the story of every person who has ever felt unseen. It reminds us that love isn't about fitting into someone else's mold, but about finding someone who helps you build your own. It teaches that beauty is not skin deep, but heart deep, and that sometimes the most beautiful stories are the ones that don't follow the script. Chaman's journey is one of courage, resilience, and ultimately, self-discovery. And in a world that often judges by appearances, his story is a powerful reminder that the truest form of love begins with loving yourself.